everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to Vlogmas Day 6. We are so excited, and by we I mean me. I'm so excited about this video in particular because this is one of my favorite things to make in the holidays, especially for Christmas, and it is so good. This dessert is amazing. And I like to call it Christmas crack, but they're technically cheesecake bars, which are, again, so good. So I'm going to show you guys how I make it. So the ingredients are really simple. So I have 2 cans of the Pillsbury crescent rolls, and I like to use the butterflake because it makes it like fluffier for me, I think. And 2 packages of regular cream cheese, and you're also going to need a vanilla extract, some ground cinnamon, sugar, and also butter, which I forgot to take out for this clip. So a few of the other things that you will need are a measuring cup, a tablespoon, a glass baking dish, and also a mixing bowl, along with another little bowl to melt the butter and some other utensils. So obviously you're going to need a few other things, but now I'm going to get started, and I am using room temperature cream cheese. It's the easiest way to do it. If you try to do this with cold cream cheese, it'll just be so hard unless you have a little electric mixer, which will also be really helpful, but I just like to mix it by hand because it's really easy. So I'm going to pop in my cream cheese into my bowl and start mixing that up, and then once that's nice and soft, then I can move on to all the other steps. So once I have the cream cheese nice and soft and ready for the sugar, I am going to separate out some of the sugar. So I'm going to take it into my measuring cup, and I'm going to put 1 full cup of sugar. I know that's a lot, but it's a dessert and it's Christmas time, so who cares? So I fill that up to 1 cup, and then I'm going to start putting some of that sugar into the cream cheese, and I only do a little bit at a time because it's easier to kind of like mix it together and get it incorporated in there. So I did that. So once I had the amount of sugar that I wanted to put in there, I left a 1/4 cup of sugar in the cup, and that's just going to be for the topping, like on top of the dessert. So don't put the whole thing, just put 3/4 of a cup of sugar into the cream cheese. Then I'm going to add in my vanilla once everything is mixed together, and I have this pure vanilla extract, and I'm using the tablespoon, and I fill it all the way up, and I pour that right in there and mix it all up until it's nice and smooth. So now that everything is ready, I'm going to start assembling my dessert. So I take the baking dish, and I am going to put in the first crescent rolls, and I'm just going to place it in there, trying to get it nice and even, and then I like to smush it down a little bit because especially on the sides it kind of like lifts up, so I like press it in, and I like to pinch those little perforated like cut marks so that it's nice and like one sheet. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab the filling. I'm just going to pour it all kind of in the middle, and I'm going to make sure to scrape every last little bit out of the mixing bowl. And so I use a spoon, grab every little bit, and then I'm going to spread it all over the like the first layer. I'm going to spread it, make it nice and even, make sure there's no lumps and bumps. So once I have the cream cheese all leveled out and it's nice and even, I'm going to pop on top the last can of crescent roll dough. So I'm going to unroll it, and I'm going to try to get it as perfect as I can on the first try. It's a little bit harder to do it on the cream cheese because like you don't want to put pressure on it, so try to get it nice and centered on the first try. So you see I had to like lift it up a little bit, but it turned out better than other times that I've done it. So the more you do it, the better you kind of get at it. So I'm just going to make sure that all the cream cheese is nice and covered, and then I'm going to also like pinch those little perforations just so it doesn't split open when it is baking. So this is where the butter comes in, and I'm just using the Country Crock original butter, and I'm going to take 3 small spoons of butter and just put it into a little like bowl, and I'm going to microwave it for like 10-15 seconds at the most, just to melt it all up and make it nice and easy to pour. So before we get to the butter part of this, I'm going to add some cinnamon into the cup with the sugar, and I'm going to mix it all together until I see that it has kind of like an even amount of sugar to cinnamon. So I'm not big on measuring things, so I kind of just pour cinnamon in there until it looks right, like until it's like a good even color. It's not too white or not too brown. So once I have all of the cinnamon mixed up, then I'm going to start the last little step before we put this in the oven. So now that everything is ready, I am going to pour the melted butter on the top of the dessert. And I like to just like tilt it around and move it around, make sure the whole top layer is like has a little bit of butter on it. And then once that is done, then I'm going to start sprinkling over everything with the cinnamon sugar mixture. And so this is a lot, but I just like kept like sprinkling it, and it turned out really good. I like it when it's like crunchy on top, like the sugar crystallizes a little bit, and it's just really good. So I preheated my oven to 350 degrees, and once that was ready, I popped the baking dish in there, and I set my timer for 30 minutes. So once the timer goes off, it is ready to be taken out of the oven, and so as you can see, it rose a lot in there. When it's nice and hot, it like goes all the way up to the top of the baking dish, and it looks so good, and it smelled so good. So what I like to do is I let it sit on the counter for like an hour, just so it cools down a little bit, and then I like to put it in the fridge overnight. I just think it's better when it's nice and chilled, and it is way easier to cut when it's really cold. So this is the following morning. I took it out of the fridge, and I just used my regular like kitchen knife to cut it into little squares. So I like to make kind of like small-ish squares, and then I'm just gonna like scrape around the sides, and I'm gonna use a spatula to get them out. And they turned out so amazing. Like, they look perfect. And I always like to serve these cooled when I am making them for a party or whatever. So I always like to keep them in the fridge until the last possible second, because they are nice and firm that way. So this is the delicious cheesecake bar recipe, and I love it. I make it every like Christmas time. It is seriously the best. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you try it out because they are delicious. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more of my videos, especially this month when I'm posting every single day. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!